All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to another episode with Maggie and Lucy. We are two older women from traditional backgrounds. We believe the older women should teach the young, and that's what we like to do here. We come on live with you all a couple times a week and give you our perspective from our combined over 40 years of marriage experience. So, Lucy, please let us know, what are we reacting to today?
This is a good one, I think. And it goes back to, I think we've talked a little bit about how some of your friends could make your life better or they could ruin your life. And that goes back to having some discernment and listening to those around you saying, I'm not sure about that friend. And I remember my mom and dad doing that when we brought friends home. They would look very, oh, sun kiss, thank you so much. Initially, we start the day, the session. I remember my mom and dad anytime asking, where are they from? Where are their parents? Kind of like the backgrounds, because that's how they start knowing who you're hanging around with. And this is a really interesting video that I believe it's gone viral from what Maggie says.
It has. So, you all, Lucy sent me this video about the girlhood friends who apparently ruined one of their friends' dates. It's just so despicable. So we're going to give you our perspective. And yes, let me say thank you so much to Sun Kissed. And again, like Lucy said, the company that you keep speaks volumes. And our two disclaimers are always, we are here for the women who are prioritizing marriage and family in your prime. If that's not you, that's totally fine. But our message is going to be directed towards those ladies. And also, the video is linked in the description. It's everywhere now. So if you want to watch it without our commentary, feel free. And a shameless plug, Lucy and I are back to register for Relationship Basics. So for any ladies who, like I always say, maybe your mother didn't teach you how to be a good woman to a good man, we have our Relationship Basics course for the modern woman. We're going to teach that live July 19th and 26th. The link is in the description at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. It's a 2 weeks course. You can go ahead and enroll and watch the videos, but we will teach it live on Zoom for those who register or have registered since our last one. You should have a calendar invite from me. All right, so without further ado, I am going to share my screen and then we will pause it and give you all our take. So let me pull this up. And this video says, miserable single women ruin their friend's date for TikTok laughs. So this video is from the Coffee Pod, which is Chisa Zed. I want to make sure I get his name correct. And we have actually reacted to one of his videos before. He and I follow each other, so I hope he doesn't mind us reacting to this. But he is reacting, so we will give you our reaction as well. All right, let's begin.
I witnessed some corny shit. So my brother decided to take this young lady out, on a date. Mm-hmm. And, he saw value in trying to build that relationship. He took the young lady out on a date. Everything's going good. But unknowing to him, the young lady's friends was at the bar recording the date. Right. They was recording the date. They was, sending drinks to the table to the young lady as if it was a man sending drinks to the table. Just really disrespecting my homie. And just recording and making jokes throughout the date. We later find that they posted this video on TikTok. Bro. And I just want to say that it's corny, it's childish. We grown, man. We 30, 31. Niggas is really trying to be intentional. But when you do shit like that and you're corny like that, it makes it hard for us to take women serious. It makes it hard, man. I mean, that's really, truly corny and childish, man. And it's one of those situations where it's like, what's the point? What's the point, man? When women is doing shit like that, it's corny, man. So I'm asking y'all to just stop that. If that's a trend that y'all trying to start, please stop that shit because it's the corniest shit in the world, man. It's corny.
Somebody
All right, y'all. So let's unpack this and a few colorful words in there. But so, as I understand, the man that was on the left side of the screen, the one that was talking from his bed, it was his male friend who was on a date. And then Chisa, the host, is going to react, but I want to give you our unfiltered take. So apparently, the man's friend actually made his intentions known to a woman and asked to take her out. And it just breaks my heart, especially as a boy mom, but it's so incredibly disrespectful. You all always hear me say we accept with grace or we exit with grace. And this just makes me think of so many things. You know how the late, great Kevin Samuel said, single women keep women single. And these are precisely the women that are going to be crying in just a few years. Where are all the good men? Men don't approach anymore. We go to these single events and it's full of women. You had your opportunity. And this is showing me that women that are later in age and single, it's not by happenstance. We're all where we are because of the decisions that we made. So this man has taken a woman out on a date, and her girlfriends not only have nothing else to do with their time, but they basically follow them to whatever place they were out. Level one. Level two, basically harassed and stalked and did, like he said, childish things. And these are women in their 30s. Lucy and I were both married in our early to mid 20s. Why you have this type of free time in your 30s to play these type of games? So we're basically stalking and harassing and sending drinks to the table to see what would happen because you got nothing better to do and nobody has asked you out. Level two. Level three, you recorded it. And I know we're all in this modern age, but you recorded your foolishness, not only to embarrass your friend and that man, but now you also have put yourself out here as somebody who's not to be taken seriously. And then if those three were not enough, you posted it on social media. And we have always said the internet is forever. And so now the friend of the man who took the woman out on the date caught wind of this and he's reacting on behalf of his friend. None of this had to happen. I'm utterly disgusted. I'm going to tell you, like Mr. President said, until the good ones start speaking out, all of us are going to get it. So ladies, if this is the company that you keep and these are the type of friends that you have, you're going to get lumped in this foolishness as well until you start speaking out. What would you add, Lucy?
So true, Maggie. And it makes you think the level of emotional lack of emotional maturity that these young women have at 30, 30 plus. It's concerning. I remember when I was 30, I was already keeping the house, thinking about my future, thinking, just making myself valuable to my husband and to society. And these women are out there creating chaos. It's not as bad as other women, but it's that kind of lack of impulse, holding back that impulse on going out there. They didn't have anything else to do. They went and followed the friend. They recorded the friend. They tried to sabotage the dinner by sending a drink, making the man believe that it was another guy's drink. So again, it's one after the other. What was the goal? Just to be funny. And then the fact that they posted it without even thinking the repercussions that this could have on the girl, on the date, and on them as well. Because any man that sees them posting this nonsense, they're going to say, nope, I'm out. This is not someone that I would want to be next to.
Could not agree more. Let me also say thank you to Chadwick Reason Fraser, who says, as a wise woman once said a year ago on another show, men see themselves in younger men. Women see themselves as younger women. Yes, that was the first time I went accidentally viral. But ladies, this is so true. And Lucy's right. This is very concerning. And, for me, I agree. At 30, I was in family planning mode. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous. I saw we had Jessica here who said, I call these frenemies. And she says, sadly, other women get jealous of other women having a date. This is true. And, young ladies, especially, it is normal and natural. Once we get up in age, people are going to start coupling up and go their separate ways. You're not going to be besties hanging out with your friends for life. You should expect that people are going to create their own families and move on. And if that's not what you want for yourself, that's fine. But you sure should not do that and disrupt someone else's opportunity. But, I'll save my words for the lady that was on the date. Yeah, you all heard me say that. Absolutely. All right, let's go back in and see what Chisa has to say.
Sends a drink while you're out on a date with another woman, you're going to immediately assume that that's disrespectful, right? Women don't typically send other women drinks. We know this. For them to do that, highly childish, very immature. And I think it's important to frame this situation the right way, just like other situations. You have a lot of people out here who don't take dating seriously. And I mean, based on their actions, right? You have men out here who are like, man, I don't care about um, a marriage or building a family and actually getting into a healthy relationship. They're just out here today. And you have men who are actually looking for that. Both people feel very passionately about those stances and they both don't take the other person seriously. In this case, right? In this case, you have men who are doing what women want them to do, be intentional, take them out on a date, and you have women doing what they seem to do best when they don't drink coffee. Of course, we're talking about ruining opportunities with what could be a decent man. And it's not like any of this is even surprising at this point. I just think we definitely do have to call some of this shit out. Because imagine men doing this, it would be a big problem. As always, we're going to check out some of these comments, see what they have to say. And we're going to check out the actual video. Yes, that's playing next. Top comment here says, oop, just came from the video. There she has the tag to the actual account that has the original video, which we're going to check out here next. Somebody else who says, people are obsessed with social media. That's the problem. I think a lot of people would agree with this. People like to blame social media for a lot of the issues in the dating market today. I think it depends. I don't think it's necessarily social media. Like social media is not a living, breathing thing that like decides what it does. I think social media exposes people and you can see more about who someone is, what they value in this instance. And in many instances, what do we see when chicks can choose between taking their life seriously or going on OF, selling their cheeks, garnering attention through videos like this? You can see that there are a lot of chicks out here who value attention more than they do peace, long, loving, lasting relationship. And right before you get to point it out and say, look, there's where you went wrong. You should have been taking dating seriously. They'll start crying. They'll blame men. And you're the bad guy for not taking them seriously later on when they're suffering the consequence of their decisions. Here's somebody else who says it's scary. Let's see what other people have to say. Next comment here. This chick says all three of them are some birds. Here's somebody else who says those are the type of friends that, let's see what other people have to say. This chick here says all three of them are some birds. Somebody else, she says those are the type of friends that want you single, right with them. Here's somebody else who says, shaking my head, wow, high school shit. That's immediately what I thought. I said, man, I can't imagine being in my 30. I'm in my, I'm how old am I? I'm 31. Sometimes you forget. I can't imagine being 31 and doing some shit like this, right? Somebody else here says, algorithm, please send me the actual video. So this is the actual video right here. We're going to check this out.
All right, I wanted to take a break before he goes into the actual video. We will play it. But he's incredibly right about how childish this is. And for me, it's very frustrating. And ladies, I'm embarrassed that we even have to have this conversation. But this is the type of stuff if you did it at all, that teenagers do, the crank phone calls and just, this is just childish behavior. And I'm going to say, ladies, whether or not you're ready for a relationship, which I think 30 is way past your prime, do whatever you want to do. But you don't get away with anything. And I think this exposes, like he said, as women, we don't think long term often. We're emotional creatures. We thought that was fun or funny in the moment. But I'm gonna talk to the ladies who, maybe you think you've got time. You will be remembered for the decisions that you made and the actions that you took in your past. The men are not giving you a pass anymore for young and dumb, especially now that we all live in this social media age. This is your the legacy that you're creating. And when you get older and now you're crying and you want somebody to take you seriously, like one of our biggest sponsors has said, you can't unring that bell. So don't think, oh, it's not that serious. I've heard people do stuff and say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Well, with relationships, men are the ones that ask. So when they stop asking you, remember, this is what you wanted. And it's really embarrassing, but we'll use it as a teachable moment. If these are the type of friends that you have, you need to disassociate yourself pretty swiftly, because if this is their character, it's just going to go down from here. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree. And just like Chiza said, these women are just absolutely immature at this point, and the social media portion is that, yeah, social media is social media. It's the behavior that goes viral like that, that it's what's creating all of these algorithms to follow that same behavior of these women or people that want that attention so much that they will do anything to create that viral moment, whether it's good, whether it's bad. And usually the viral moments are not for good things, like the Maggie a paragraph or quote that she stated. It's for things that people keep doing that are allowing society to crumble this way, because it seems like there's no boundaries for anything. Anything goes now.
Button. Such a good point. We're going to go in and play this video. I see you all making a comment about the clip that I made that went viral when I was on that podcast. I will just say this. This was almost about 2 years ago now. And do you all see how you all remember that moment? Imagine if that was me making a fool of myself instead of saying something that was impactful. And I'm trying to move past that. And everybody's, oh, yeah, that was that lady that was standing on top of the tables in her drunken stupor. So again, ladies, we live in the modern world. We accept that. We appreciate all the benefits that come with it. But it is a double-edged sword. And social media is a tool. Don't let it be the tool that takes you down. All right. Let's go back in and brace ourselves and watch the video.
And get into it. So it starts off with these texts here that read, yeah, his face being in it is the one thing I feel bad about. Goes on to say, I wish that wasn't in the video, and I'm going to apologize about that part. And so this is an incoming text, as in the person who posted this video received this text. I don't know if it's from the friend who she was doing this with, because remember, there's two of them. They show up to the other friend who's on the date, and they're there to sabotage and ruin that woman's future to finding a husband. And I hope she knows that. If she doesn't, now she knows. Right? This is an incoming text. I don't know if this is from the friend who was on the date or if it's from the friend who they went on the date with. Why does it matter? If it's from the friend who was on the date, we can know that that chick is hopeless, right? She's not calling her friends out here for being immature. Let's check this video out. Let's see what they have to say.
Okay, so girlhood is going to the same bar that your friend is having a date on to go spy.
Girlhood.
Because why not? Why not? It's Friday night. We ain't got shit to do.
3 shots in, 2 drinks in, couple of free drinks in.
Right. Why not? At this point, like, we might as well go check up on you, girl. Like, how you been? You look so good.
Right. Oh my God.
All right, we're really going to unpack this. beyond upset already, but I want to unpack what they said, and especially for the young ladies who may not have a lot of dating experience. This is not normal. This is not funny. This is not girlhood. This is definitely not womanhood. When ladies would go out on a date when we were young, your girlfriends would say, all right, give me all the details when you come back if you wanted to. They would let you go have your experience. Of course, you let them know where I'm going, maybe a quick check in, and then your phone is put away. We talk about this in the finishing school. When you are across the table and you are in person with somebody, you need to be focused on that moment, whether it's a date or an interview or a business meeting. But having this, squad with you, I can't go on a date unless my friends are with me. You're going to be disqualified. Did you hear those two foolish women when they said, we ain't got nothing else to do? Colorful language. That is a problem. Just because you're bored does not make you entitled to be the third wheel in someone else's real life or virtual life. I see a lot of this. And ladies, this is unacceptable. You need to ask yourself, wonder why I don't have anything to do on a Friday night. And then finally, did you hear them when they said we're 2 shots in or 3 drinks in, have a couple of, drinks or some free drinks? So they've already worked themselves up with that liquid courage to go do some foolishness. Again, do what you want to do. But ladies, this speaks to the character of your friends and the company that you keep. And believe me, if you want a man of value to take you seriously, you need to start auditing the friends that you have, because it will count against you if you allow and you encourage this behavior and you don't call foolishness what it is. All right. I wanted to say that before we continue. What would you add, Lucy?
The fact that they said that they had nothing else to do on a Friday night, instead of, maybe staying home, reading a book, watching a movie, staying with your sisterhood friend at home. Instead, you have drank a little bit, and then you're going to go disturb somebody else's peace because you seem not to be okay being on your own, spending time on your own. So that says a lot also about a character. If you're unable to spend time alone and you need to look for something else to entertain you, at somebody else's piece, that's very troublesome.
It absolutely is. So we're going to go back in, and I'm not trying to preach today, but listen to Auntie Maggie. Ladies, people don't change unless they want to. This is how they're going to be for the rest of your relationship. You go out on a date, you're going on vacation, you are getting married, you're having a family. They have nothing else to do. They're going to try and insert themselves. They're going to want to be the third wheel on that date. They're going to want to come over and overstay their welcome. This is who they are. So you have to cut this stuff off at the root, and maybe they're friends, but you keep them out of what's happening in your social life. They will bring you down. Let's go back in.
I love that talk on you.
Remember when women used to sew and cook? Right? You guys remember that?
So good, girl. We'll check in soon. So go to the bar. Yeah, just go to the bar. Don't look around at all. Don't look around at all. When we get to the bar, lay eyes. Lay eyes.
Now these chicks are at the bar looking for them, right? Trying to figure out how they can ruin a potential good thing here.
Where is she? We don't see her, but we think she's upstairs. 3 floors, and we're moving up to the 2nd floor now. So I have no. I can't. Yes, you can. I can. Yes, you can. Okay. Hi. No one's down here.
Doing all this when you could be baking a pie. What happened to baking pies? Now all these chicks want to do is take shots of Tito's and twerk on camera for the TikTok and gram.
Was that me?
So they've spotted them right there in the background.
Was that me? Black.
More alcohol just in case they weren't, effed up enough.
Okay, we just have the most genius. We can say somebody since you're drinking the bar. They're sending the drink over right now. It's a French 75. Okay.
So this is the moment. This is the moment where they started to give into the evil whispers of drunkenness. And that was telling them, hey, try this. And they're like, why not? There's the waitress right there taking the drink to the couple. We're going to see how she's going to react. Let's see.
All right, I want to just unpack a few things that went really quickly. I want to make sure you all are hearing how sickening this is. Not only do you get up out of wherever you were to go get drunk and pregame before you go and try to find your friend, did you all hear them when they said they were looking for them? This is an establishment that was 3 floors. And they enter the establishment and they don't see their girlfriend. And this is not just to, okay, she's okay, we haven't heard from her in a while, and then, go do their thing. They go find her, post up somewhere, and then are doing the play-by-play recording with this woman and an unsuspecting man on video, like it's some type of, I don't even know what it is. Like, this would never even cross my mind. But there was a moment when they were going up to, let's say it was the 3rd floor. Did you hear one of the women say, I can't do this? And the other friend said, oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Kind of egged her on. So she even had a little check wherever it came from that said, maybe we shouldn't follow this through. Maybe it sounded like a fun idea, but it's not. And you have that other friend saying, come on, let's do it. Again, ladies, you see what happens when you continue to stay connected to people who do not have your best intentions at heart. This is how you end up caught up and hemmed up somewhere. So now they've gone there and they've got more alcohol, and it's not enough to just sit there and watch. It's not enough to just sit there and watch and record. Now, because you don't have enough going on in your own life, you have to go throw rocks and hide your hands by sending a waitress over with a drink to interrupt their date just to see what happens, because this sounds like a good idea. Ladies, I'm going to tell you, men look at the effort that we put into what we want to do. Like my man will tell you, you do what you want to, meaning you're going to have excuses for all these other things that he asks you to do. But look how much effort, look how much time, look how much energy, money spent to buy a drink that you're not going to consume, to send it over to somebody else. So these are the data points that the men that we want look at and say, nah, I'm gonna let you be all right by yourself. And then you're wondering, no, but I'm a good girl once you get to know me. But if this is what you put your best efforts into at 31, you deserve what you get. You should be alone. What would you add, Lucy?
Thank you, Discipled One, for that super chat. It says, this is why I give. This is why I give and would encourage all men in the live or in the replay to do this also. These two are sowing good seeds toward women, and I saw the results last week. Check that video out too. Thank you so much. Yes, and I don't know if they were live streaming that event or that was something that they recorded and then posted it. Either way, it's bad, because if you're live streaming it, that is scary, because it goes to a point where it's somehow like an invasion of privacy, because again, they didn't get the okay from the girlfriend or the guy or even the people in the table in the back that they were filming. So what if one at that table in the back says, I didn't authorize my face to be shown in this video that went viral. So again, they're not looking at the possible repercussions that lack of impulse control will cause eventually. And fortunately or unfortunately, they've gone viral right now, and they've got to be careful because the world is watching now.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Discipled One, for the $50. Incredibly generous. And you said that you saw our good seed last week. If you're talking about the finishing school graduation dinner, thank you. Yes, Lucy and I believe in doing the real work in the real world. But even in that example, you all saw some of the pictures. Ladies came with their husbands. I was there with Mr. President. You have to be very careful what you reveal because not everybody wants to be, for public consumption. And I took the time to ask and share, these are the pictures I'm going to share. Is everybody okay with that? So, we try to live by example here. And again, I cannot believe this happened, but let's see what else we can learn from it. Let's go back in.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know what I just thought of? And I'm really glad I just thought of this. Chisha, stop pausing it. It's not happening. It's not happening. Right. And I'm so glad I thought of this because I was going to keep the chick on the date. I was going to keep her out of the roast session here. But let's be real. She shouldn't have accepted that drink. Am I wrong for that stance? She shouldn't have accepted that drink. Out of respect, if she would have turned down that drink and said, "No, I'm on a date," that's disrespectful. Then in that man's eyes, she would have been put in a whole different category. And I don't want people to say these are young. No, these look like chicks who are in their mid-20s, late 20s. Women used to, get married and make very mature decisions at one point. But yeah, she should not have accepted that drink. If I'm on a date with the woman and some guy gets her a drink and she's there sipping it and you're like, I know, okay. I already know in my back of my head, what? And you're going to drink that in front of me? Nah. Right? Going to play cool, because a lot of guys then lose it with the, I'm telling her off. No. Just relax, play cool. And it's the end of the day. But I know it's over. Right? And this is the truth. This is the coffee pot. The men who don't mind stepping on some moral, or crossing some moral boundaries will think to themselves, all right, I'm just going to smash and dash and sell this chick a dream. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying know that men also move in certain ways and they all have different intentions and they all have different moral compasses. And how do I know? Because at one point I would have looked at that and said, okay, yeah, you're just for fun, right? Do I agree with that now? No. And of course, now I'm married. But I mean, when I was dating, I did get to a point where I was like, nah, you know what? If I'm not going to go out of my way to revenge and so on and so forth. But you're going to get it. You're going to get it from each angle, either cut off, so on and so forth. She accepted the drink, mad disrespectful. Am I wrong to assume that? Comment down below.
All right, I want to unpack this. I see you all in the comments, and there was a comment here that I want to go to, and I want to ask the ladies. Okay, Dr. Steele said, the friends, are they bored or jealous? I'd love to know what you all think. I think both, and I think foolish, idiotic, so many other adjectives here. I really love his perspective, and there's another clip that I have that went viral about ladies when you get moved into the for a fun time and not for a long time category, and you may not even know it. Did you notice how when her friend sent that drink over, they're just laughing and kikiing it up like this is, the best practical joke ever. But let's pause for a moment on what he said about the woman who's on a date. So a waitress brings over a drink, and ladies, I'd love to know, would you accept that drink or not? I don't have a lot of dating experience. I've been in 2 relationships since I was 18, but I think it's fascinating whether or not you would accept that. I agree. I think you focus on the date that you're on and say, thank you, but I'm with someone. But the fact that he said in that moment, if he were the one on the date and a woman accepted a random drink and drank it in front of him on that date, in his mind, the date is over. Physically, he's still present. He's still dining with you. He's still having conversation with you, but in his mind, he knows it's not going any further. And these are the things, ladies, that sometimes you wonder, why you're having to start over and over. You're doing things that unknowingly are counting you out. And like he said, if he were a different type of man, he may take advantage of, physical time with you if you allow that, knowing the whole time that it's not going anywhere. So my point is this, ladies, our behavior matters. Our character matters. And whether or not we conduct ourselves as women of honor, it's going to catch up with you. So I'd love to know your thoughts. What would you say, Lucy?
And yeah, that's how men say, this young lady comes from good stock, moral stock, character stock, or they don't. And another thing I was thinking, maybe this girl doesn't know that that's not okay. Because again, when we were younger, our moms would say, no, you don't do that. You don't say that. You don't wear that. You don't do. So again, it could be that these women maybe have raised themselves with other girlfriends and not even paying attention to what the mom says, but maybe the mom hasn't taught them that. So again, it's one of those things that it's generation after generation where these ladies are not learning what it is to be elegant and feminine, and they're just out there learning on their own and crashing and burning because of that behavior that they show that nobody said, no, you don't do this. And because of the modern world that we're in, we're talking about people do not judge, and they don't do, they don't tell us anything because we know what we do know, and we do whatever we want to do. There's a point where you should listen to those that say, maybe that's not a good idea. Don't do that. And those are the women that will win in the end, because they are listening to what other people are telling them because of concern. When a person tells you maybe you shouldn't do that, it's because it's not that they don't care about you, it's because they care about you, and they're thinking about those repercussions or consequences that you, because you're young, because you don't know, you are not told that those things are not going to build up you as a young, elegant woman. And unfortunately, we are seeing the result of these non-judgmental environment that these ladies are exposed to.
I agree with you, Lucy, but I'll just say this, ladies, you're getting grace from Lucy and me. The men, one time in a row. And I saw a comment here about we need to stop. Here it is. We need to stop infantilizing women. You're in your mid-20s, you're totally grown. These women are in their 30s, still doing this foolishness. And it's true. There is no excuse, because the way the men look at it is, by the time a man is ready for a relationship, he is on the hunt, selecting. Men don't waste their time, their resources, unless it's just for recreation. They're not going to waste time really trying to get to know you if they don't have intentions. And so when you play these kind of games, maybe this is, what you want to do well into your 40s or 50s. But I promise you, there's going to be a point when you really are going to want someone to care and to be in a real relationship. And unfortunately, this kind of stuff spreads like wildfire. You cannot undo something. So it's too late for these women in this video. But young ladies, and Lucy and I know someone that was just holding on to her ratchet friends, and it brought her stock all the way down. And some things are just unable to be repaired. We're going to go back in. I want to say thank you, Next Level, for the $5, saying evening, ladies. Sorry I'm late. Salute to the chat. I'll watch the end and then the replay. Thank you so much. And Suave D coming in with the $5, saying good evening, beauties. Thank you for the compliment. You are too kind. All right, let's go back in.
Oh, niggas think I'm sleep. So eventually we left. He was like, it was that dude that was sitting at the bar. Like, you can't trust somebody that pull up to the lounge in a blazer. So he did not know. He didn't know. Keep the niggas on their toes. On their toes.
Keep the ninjas on their toes, on their mother effing toes. Boy, I can't wait. It's coming. Coffee will be served. Let's check out a few of these comments here. What the people have to say. Top comment here says, and all y'all are still single. That's a fact. You can count on it. You can count on it. Somebody else here added sometimes it'd be your friends the reason why you're single. In this case, they're right in front of your face. But of course, she's probably not going to accept it until it's too late. Somebody else here says, I never want to be this bored. Yeah, there's so much you could be doing with your time. So much you could be doing with your time. Here's another person that says, if I'm on a date and my friends came and played it cool in the background, okay. But sending drinks, recording, and putting it on the internet is a bit much. But hey, I'm 41 and LOL, so maybe it's an age thing. No, it's not an age thing. There's this thing of this current generation I've noticed where people look at 30-year-olds like, oh, you're 30, still make bad decisions. No, 30 is not the end of the world. Trust me, that's not what I'm trying to get across here. But at 30, if you're over the age 21 in my books, and you're out here doing stuff like this, then people are going to start to look at you a bit like, yeah, like you got to grow up. You got to grow up. Here's somebody else that says birds of the same. Here's somebody else that says birds of a feather. Somebody else here added, may friends like this never find me. This is bizarre. Here's somebody else that says, if the roles were reversed, guy takes girl out, his homeboy came and starts filming and acting goofy, she wouldn't find that attractive at all, probably up and leave. Time and place for everything. There's no time and place for this stupid shit. Somebody else who says, coming from the guy's friend's video. And final comment here says, I'm glad I found my wife. This dating scene is weird. Yeah. Now picture this, right? Somewhere is an older woman or man, because it's terrible. It's terrible either way. Who's about to leave, and I'm not talking about they have a justified reason here. They're about to leave for some BS, not knowing how bad the dating market actually is. How bad you're just going to get dogged and dragged out here. And you're going to assume that people have good intentions, right? You're going to assume that people aren't going to stand you up. You're going to drive 4 hours. I just saw a video of a chick talking about driving 4 hours to meet somebody without a guarantee that everything was good. These are all things today that if you've been seasoned, you just are like, no, I'm not about to drive 4 hours. Listen, stay safe out here. If you have friends that are good to you, then keep them close. You know, everyone needs that. And if you have these type of friends who have no problem keeping you single, then if you haven't cut them off yet, this is your motivation too. And finally, to my currently engaged men, if you're currently engaged and need a prenup but don't know where to start, remember, Fathers Have Rights guides you on taking the first step before hiring your lawyer, before hiring your attorney. That's fathershaverights.com. If you need a prenup, don't know where to start, and you're soon to be married or currently engaged, make sure you head over there and join the hundreds of men who are helped by our prenuptial agreement guide. Till next time, I'm out.
All right, y'all. A couple of things I want to unpack here. Yeah, it's just so disturbing. I don't know if you all caught it because these girls are giggling like this is funny. Nothing about this is funny. And I love that Chisa said earlier about people like to blame social media, but social media just exposes who you really are. I've heard that said about money too. I believe it was, Oprah or somebody, and, it is. People are who they are. If you're a generous person, then you're just a generous person with money. If you're a stingy person, you're just a stingy person with money. If you're a reckless person, you're a reckless person with money. But I agree, we have to hold bad behavior accountable and call it what it is. This is not okay. This is not funny. One of the things that was so sad and heartbreaking to me, did you hear in the second half of the video when these ridiculous girls were circling up and laughing about this? Did you hear one of them say, you can't trust anybody who shows up to a bar in a blazer? So this man not only took time out of his day to approach a woman and ask her out for a drink or a meal or whatever it was, spend time with her, spend money on her, and even dressed the part to show up as somebody that should be taken seriously. And not only was he not taken seriously, he was made a fool of on the internet for all of us to see. There is a part two to this, and I've seen what has since happened. And if you all want, I'll share what I've seen, or you all can share. But one of our biggest sponsors has said, dragons are not born, dragons are made. This is how men become dragons. This is how men become ruthless. This is how men say, you know what? It is my way or the highway. Do not ask me any questions. I am not here to ask you. Either you're going my way or you're not. And, you know, what makes me frustrated is, again, these are the type of women in their 30s who play these games while they have the last little bit of their youth and fertility and drag their feet making life decisions. When they become 40 and 50, these are the ones trying to get to the front of the line, trying to expedite the outcome, trying to say, Maggie, I want what you have. Lucy, I want what you have. How can I have that real significant relationship? You can't. You wasted your youth. You wasted the time to build something real. You thought it was funny when it wasn't. So now get in the back of the line with everybody else and see what you can get. But everything can't be fixed, ladies. What would you add, Lucy?
And that's the reason the dating, environment is a nightmare now. These women that think that they still have it, putting these men down for, the guy showed up with good intentions to have a good dinner. He dressed up the part. He wanted to have an enjoyable time. And you have these random women that he had no idea they exist, making that event something nightmarish because they were bored, they were jealous, they had nothing to do, and they picked, an event that should have been so beautiful and private. Because a date is, when you've decided to go on a date, both parties, it should be something that you should make it a point to enjoy it, whether you become friends after or it becomes something after. It's that part that you can later on see and say, yeah, your mom and dad went on a date, and I remember we were having this conversation, and it was all about that event. And these women, it's just so sad, the state of just not understanding how to behave in public, in society. And it's just, it adds to the destruction of what modern society is.
I agree. I want to come to you all's comments. I saw a few of them that stood out to me. The Condemned is saying, yeah, we are passing her and her friend around to the whole county, not to be taken seriously. Now, ladies, a bit much, but I will say this. Men talk. If you think you are going to be instantly accepted into the circle of a man of value, it is a lot of work and a lot of time. You have to be vetted not only by him, but his network. And when you want something serious, men will bring you around their friends, their colleagues. And if you have a reputation, they'll pull him aside and say, hey, let me talk to you about this one. I've heard it. The men talk in the barbershop, on the basketball court, whatever. And if you find yourself thinking that it's going somewhere and all of a sudden you're disqualified, like I've been saying, you're not going to get away with this behavior. So you think it may be just, some silly little joke that you do. You never know what doors may have shut permanently because of this foolishness. All right. Next Level says these may be females. They're definitely not women. Yeah, that's why I get a little word choice is important. And I hate, when we just lump women into females. You can be a female cat. You can be a female of any animal. But a woman is different. A woman is an adult human female, and a lady is an elegant woman. That's what Lucy and I teach. That's what we try to promote. But yes, ladies, you are just going to disqualify yourself so much. And I love this comment from Next Level. If the tables were turned, a woman would crash out. Ask yourself, ladies, you're on a date with a man. You cleared your calendar. You've put yourself together. You're putting your best effort. You want to be taken seriously. And his homeboys are in the cut, sending over women in tight dresses to kind of fall over him, drop their number, and he's entertaining it right in the presence of you and recording it and posting it on the internet when you actually showed up in good faith. How would you feel? Would that be funny? Or would you crash out? I don't think we would take it that well. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, it's I don't know if this is a reflection of how a modern dating is, because again, the algorithm pulls everything that's the same all the time. um, Again, I'm glad that I'm not in the dating scene anymore, because from what I see, some of the worst behavior is not from men. Some of the worst behavior is from these women wanting attention and sharing it all over, posting it all over the internet, where nobody comes to them and says, stop, don't do that, do not post that, you're going to be, you're going to be sorry. And we're seeing that too with these women that post uh, things that they do at work, and then immediately they get fired because of that need for immediate attention, and lack of, again, impulse control. And then that's maturity level, that somehow something is not working when it comes to young women understanding that there are consequences to everything they do. You are at a point, if you are at a bad point, that is a reflection of all the bad decisions that you've made up until that bad point. So again, it's too bad, because I do see that with young women, they don't listen. They refuse to take correction. They refuse to listen to those that are saying, yeah, no, maybe you shouldn't do that. It's not a good idea. And they're going to find out the hard way that, that their actions do have consequences.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. They will learn the hard way. And, we'll take this as a teachable moment for all of us. But young ladies, especially, what can we learn from this? I don't think women really understand how much it takes for a man to talk to a girl that he likes, ask her out, put himself together. As a boy mom, it just breaks my heart that women think, oh, it's just something to play with. It's not. And like Lucy said, I mean, there's no guarantee that it's a love match, but what we teach, and again, yes, I am going to be promoting this class, but if you do not know how to choose wisely, the relationship basics, we're going to teach you how to tell if a man has intentions or if this is just, something that you should exit with grace. But for a man to make time for you, to take you somewhere in public, go to the internet. If you don't believe us, how many women are complaining that men don't approach? How many women are going to mixers and meetups and single events and it's filled with women? How many women who used to get attention now are, crying that they feel invisible? Father time comes for all of us. And like Lucy always says, Maggie, we have our men. We're trying. So if you can't learn from your own mistakes, watch what these other women are doing and then ask yourself, would you trade places with them? And I'll spill the beans. I saw another video. Shout out to the Crimson Cure because she actually reacted to this. These women have now, the three of them have now circled up and posted a response video because they got so much hate from what happened. The man that was on the date, his friend who saw this, that Chisa was reacting to, called his buddy and was like, hey, they got you on TikTok looking crazy. He called it off immediately. So now, even if he was interested in her, it's not going any further. So she lost an opportunity with a man who I say, came in good faith. These women are laughing, saying, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. It was all in good fun. Okay, yeah, I shouldn't have had his face in the video. I took it down. But look, like Three Musketeers, we're still fun. This is, maybe you all don't have friends. Maybe you all don't have a sense of humor. They're trying to make excuses for what they've done. Still, at their big age of 30 plus, thinking that it's all fun and games. Okay. Again, you can do whatever you want to. But ladies, if this is you, it will catch up with you. You're not getting away with anything. If this is your friends, these are not friends to you. Relationships are sacred. If you want something traditional, you need to learn how to move in silence. Be very selective with what you share, if you share anything at all. At most, I'll let you know when I arrive. I'll let you know when I'm back home. There's no reason that these girls should have had access to come, haunt and hound you on this date. But the fact that you allowed it, the fact that you're laughing about it, the fact that you thought, oh my God, this was just some prank like little kids do. Again, I say you deserve what you get. And in your quiet time, when you are single and don't want to be, you will remember this and wonder whatever happened to that nice guy that took me out with the blazer on. And you will look up and find that he has moved on and happy in a relationship with somebody else. What would you add, Lucy?
I don't think I have anything to add. I was thinking, what are the parents of these young ladies saying? Do they even know that they're acting that way? And it goes back to also thinking, you represent your family, you represent that name. What are your mom and dad saying? Have you learned that behavior from your mom and that's why you continue to behave that way? Or if your mom would find out that you're acting this way, is she going to be embarrassed to know that you are acting a fool out there, without any type of restraint, doing whatever you want, and then later on you're going to be sorry for doing that. You don't know if this man could even bring a lawsuit on this for putting his life out there. You don't know if this man, let's say that he works, I don't know, undercover, and you're showing him online to everybody else, putting him in danger. So again, it's those things that it doesn't fall in their heads to think beyond that act right there, right now, because they want that immediate attention.
Yeah, so this was a good one, you all. To your point, Lucy, I'm just thinking the fact that you even asked that question shows how we would never even think to do this because we know the repercussions. Our family would yank our chain. And like you said, you're not wearing that. You're not saying that. You're not playing that music. You're not going there. But, I'm not going to say not all. I'm not going to put a blanket on everyone. But the way that these women are behaving, and someone made a comment about the twerking in the restaurant, there is this mindset that you can't tell people anything. They have to learn the hard way. And I saw this one from Discipled One. I've said to my wives, you will learn by inspiration or you will learn by tribulation, but you will learn. And it's true, ladies, and this is why when you see 40-plus-year-old women crashing out and crying, people are just there with their popcorn laughing because nobody is buying your sob story. You didn't get to 40 and, oh my gosh, all these unfortunate things happened to you. You had opportunities that you wasted. You had opportunities that you didn't take seriously. Some of you had a marriage or a man who was seriously vetting you for marriage in a blazer that you laughed at, that you made fun of with your friends. So, the fact that the internet has come for them and their response video, instead of saying, I'm really embarrassed. I wasn't raised that way. I want to give a heartfelt apology to my friend and this man who had intentions to take her out and get to know her better. And we were completely out of line. And I am truly, truly sorry. Instead of that, they have made a response video laughing, doubling down, basically explaining why it's all in good fun and we just need to lighten up. Okay, do what you want to do, but don't come crying when that door shuts and the world around you has moved on and other people have found their relationships and you are finding out about events after the fact. When you're not in the inner circle anymore, when you are not invited, when you're not on the guest list anymore, when it's longer and longer for people to respond to you. You have to ask yourself, what have I done to put myself on the outside? And it may be the three of you in a group. So with that, we're going to wrap this one up. So many people to thank you, Lucy, for this video. You can see it everywhere. It's gone completely viral. Sunkissed, thank you for the $4.99. Chadwick, thank you for the $10. Suave D, thank you for the $5. Next Level, thank you for the $5. And our stream sponsor with the heavy hands coming in with $50. Discipled One, thank you so much. We hope this was helpful. See you all on Instagram. Glad you all caught this and glad that it was helpful. So we will be back Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central Pacific with another video. And again, ladies, go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. If you don't know how to choose wisely and you want to avoid these mistakes, especially in your prime, the Relationship Basics course, we will teach it live and you have lifetime access to all of the recordings. Anything to close us out, Lucy?
Looking forward to the relationship basics. It's going to be fun. It's going to be maybe a refresher course for some ladies, and it might be new things that they will learn for the younger ladies. So looking forward to that. And this was a good video. Hopefully, these young three women, maybe they will see the error of their ways. And they'll stop doubling down and say, yeah, we were wrong. And that makes you an elegant woman for saying, yes, I agree, I did something wrong and I see the error of my way. It is not going to happen again.
All right, well, until then, we will let you all have your evening and we will say adios.